to use Meteoblue's interactive weather map. Now, in the past few days, we've talked about how differences in air pressure and the Earth's tilt and spin causes weather patterns to go in reasonably predictive directions and spins based on their location on Earth. Generally, we said that if a weather pattern was going from a faster to a slower region, it would be curving towards the east. And if it's going from a slower region to a faster region, relatively speaking, it would be curving to the west. And then we can talk about how surface winds and the prevailing winds are based on locations of high and low pressure, relatively speaking, based on inequalities in solar radiation. Places like the equator get more sunlight, so they're going to have regions of low pressure. And places further away tend to be more high pressure based on less sunlight. So all of that helps us explain how and why places like North America get weather with the prevailing winds bringing, for the most part, storm systems across the northeast. Now, different types of pressure systems will either spin clockwise or counterclockwise in the northern or southern hemispheres. That's not going to be an important detail for us, but rather, we really want to think about how changes in pressure on a day-to-day basis drive weather patterns and how they can help explain the weather of the day. And to do that, we're going to take a look at this. So this is a website that I just found, and I'm freaking out about it. It is so cool. Meteoblue is a weather forecasting company in the United Kingdom, and what they've done is they've created this great interactive map that has all of these different layers. Basically, you can put on different Halloween masks, so to speak, across the Earth and see at different locations, are they experiencing significantly low pressure or significantly high pressure. And we can see that with this key over here, where really blue regions are going to be extremely low pressure systems. And as you go towards the red, you get to higher and higher pressure systems. Based on this map, it looks like pretty much the neutral level is in the green. Now this is in British units, not in our inches of mercury for pressure, so I will make sure that I give you a key to understand this. This is in pascals, which if you take physics with Mr. Lavoie in a few years, you'll understand what pascals are in terms of a measurement. But let's talk about how you can go about changing different things on this map. The first is 160 and 30. Basically, that allows you to see different levels of opacity between the map and the layer that you're looking at. Now, you start off with a bunch of different menu options. If you go to Other, sea level pressure is going to be the one that we use predominantly, and that's going to be what is the atmospheric pressure at sea level. Basically, it's looking at different air pressures at different locations. Now, if you take a look at Vermont, we tend to be right now in the sort of olive green, which puts us probably around 10, 12, 10, 14. So we're experiencing a reasonably high pressure day, not super high, which explains why it's pretty nice out. We had a low pressure system a day and a half ago, which is now over sort of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, and that explained the sort of grayer, drabbier, wetter weather of the past couple days. Now you can also, this is really cool, click on each of these days. I didn't want to do that. I'm going to get out of this. Never click on the Learn More. You can click on different days. I'm not sure why this isn't letting me do it. The first thing you want to do is pick your location. So I'm going to pick some place in Vermont. It says Woodward Mountain. And then ideally what should be happening is, and I'm going to solve this with you. So clicking in zooms in and out. I'm having some technical difficulties, which is perfectly fine. because you guys are probably going to have this too. So this allows us to move our point and our location on different maps. And what I really want, didn't see this. If you slide this down here, rather than clicking, it allows you to see changes in air pressure. So right now it's Wednesday at about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, actually 9:48, totally off on my time. And this is the weather forecast. So it's going to get a little cloudy in the afternoon, clear skies on Thursday, but then a cold front's going to come in on Friday, which is why we're going to have some snow in the middle of the night, and then it's going to be pretty cold. So let's go check out what Friday's air pressure looks like in the morning. Let's see what the color looks like. Ooh, that is significantly bluer. And you can see all of these small lines. When you see a lot of small lines together, that means that this is essentially a front. Basically, you have a central low pressure system. And as you go out, there's less and less of that low pressure, which means that this is sort of the center of a storm front. So this is why we're going to have some pretty significant cold weather and precipitation Thursday night into Friday morning. So that's an important thing to note, is that as you drag this slider across our weather slider, we can see different days with different types of graduations. And the bigger these bars are, the less noticeable, an error has occurred. That's not good. You guys are seeing all of my technical difficulties, aren't you? Let's see if I can fix this. The bigger the bars are, the more stationary that weather is going to be, which means there's going to be smaller changes in the weather on a day-to-day basis. The closer the bars are together, here's that front that we're going to experience, the more dramatic the weather change will be. And the center of these can be really thought of the center of the sort of storm. So if I go to clouds and I look at, let's look at cloud types. I'm going to see quite a bit of clouds in the center of this storm system because it's a low pressure system, which means there's going to be a lot of moisture going up. So we should be able to see things like that. So let's talk about different types of masks, so to speak, you can put on your weather. You can do cloud type, you can do cloud cover, which sort of looks at the density of the cloud cover. You could also look at medium, low, and high clouds. So sort of our cumulus, alto, and cirrus clouds. You could look at precipitation in terms of forecasted rain and snow over different time periods. And if you have a question about any of these, you just click on the arrow and it brings you to great definitions of each of these different layers and how to use them. So I hope that's helpful. Other different ones you can look at, there's temperature, minimum, maximum. There is popular weather maps, so temperature, min, max, wind gusts. All of these things are going to be super useful if you choose to use them for your third post. So this we'll talk more about in class today, but I just wanted to show you some brief things about how to use this map.